The president of this year's UN climate talks says he respects the science behind and around climate change after a leaked video showed him questioning the science behind phasing out fossil fuels.
Let me say from the outset that everything this presidency has been working on, continues to work on, is focused on and centered around the science.
The Emirati oil boss came under fire after the Guardian newspaper published a video of him saying that there is, quote, no science behind demands for the phase-out of fossil fuels. His comments prompted backlash from environmentalists as well as the UN Secretary-General, António Guterres, who called it, quote, incredibly concerning and verging on climate denial. Well, let's get more now with Julie Yu. She is live from Dubai. Julie, Mr. Al Jaber's presidency has been rife with controversy even before these climate talks began. Walk us through this latest issue.
Sure, Jill. Well, the recent comment by the president of COP28 is certainly stirring up a lot of commotion here at the summit. Drama, just to recap, unfolded during an online chat with the former president of Ireland and a veteran climate activist, Mary Robinson, where he questioned the science behind phasing out fossil fuels to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Things got even spicier when Mr. Al Jaber hit back with, show me a plan to phase out fossil fuels without taking us back to the Stone Age. As you can imagine, his remarks didn't sit well with many in Dubai. You mentioned UN Chief António Guterres expressing concern. He's not the only one. Small island nations came out saying they will hold Dr. Al Jaber to account on fossil fuels. And some climate scientists called his remarks farcical, citing most recent UN panel report that says that cutting emissions steeply by 2030, reaching net zero by 2050, is needed to have a chance at limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. That in response to that controversy, Sultan Al Jaber, at a surprise press conference earlier, stated that phase down and phase out of fossil fuels is essential and says his comments were misinterpreted. He said that he believes in the science and that COP28 has been very successful so far. He's highlighted achievements like the groundbreaking loss and damage agreement, also the inaugural focus on methane as well. However, that no science comment is likely to intensify scrutiny on the COP20 president, and with differing views on phase out versus phase down of fossil fuels already a contentious issue at this summit, we may see a showdown brewing among countries on this very topic that could sway talks on a major agreement in Dubai. Jill?
We will be watching closely, but let's go to the talks proper. There's been great focus today on placing a higher price on carbon. Tell us more as the delegates start to get into the details and dig into the fine print of these talks.
Yeah, Jill, one of the key themes of the day is finance. So it's all about fine-tuning strategies, focusing on money matters. Even though it might not grab the big headlines as it did on the first few days of the summit, it's a critical phase, especially with key players from major banks, investment firms, and oil industry bigwigs in the mix. Now, a hot topic on the table, as you mentioned, is carbon pricing. They're basically making polluters pay for what they emit, providing a stronger nudge to clean up their act, a concept supported by IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva. Proponents like her say it's a cost-effective way to cut emissions, but the real challenge is getting countries to agree on implementing these measures worldwide. Still, COP28 could set a solid precedent for a global collaboration on carbon markets, so we'll have to keep a lookout for that. And beyond that, there is a strong focus on supporting the global south, most affected by climate change. Discussions are revolving around innovative financial tools and initiatives to attract investment without overburdening those seeking help, because reality is that money going into climate action isn't enough. Even though global climate finance hit a whopping $800 billion a year, it's only a third of what's needed to hit those Paris Agreement goals by 2030. But there are some glimmers of hope, though. That early consensus on the first day at COP28 to operationalize loss and damage fund, with the UAE as well as Germany pledging $100 million that is each. Also, U.S. jumping in with $3 billion for that Green Climate Fund and so on. So looking ahead, we could potentially see more buzz about other countries and banks jumping on that finance bandwagon, making substantial financial commitments. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Julie, keeping an eye on all things COP28 for us, live from Dubai. Thank you so much.